Imagine building a fence so long, it stretches across an entire country. A fence even longer than the Great Wall of China. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what Australia did. They built a fence over 5,600 kilometers long. And no, it's not to keep out people, it's to stop rabbits. Yes, rabbits. This is the story of the longest fence in the world, the rabbit-proof fence. It's one of the strangest and most fascinating projects in history. So in 1901, the government had an idea: build a massive fence that would stretch across Western Australia and stop the rabbits from spreading further. They believed that if they could block them off, they could protect the farmland in the West. And it reveals a lot about Australia's wildlife, its environment, and even its national identity. They thought it would be fun to have them for hunting, but they had no idea what was coming. Within just a few decades, millions of rabbits were eating their way across the land, destroying crops, killing native plants, and turning fertile land into dust. They burrowed under the fence, they jumped over gaps, and sometimes the wind blew sections down. Over time, people realized that fences alone couldn't stop the rabbit invasion. In total, the rabbit-proof fence system was over 3 fences, some overlapping and reaching over 5,600 kilometers longer than the Great Wall of China. Let's go back to the 1850s. That's when rabbits were first brought to Australia by European settlers. They introduced viruses to reduce rabbit populations, they invested in better land management. And slowly, the situation came under control, at least a little. It's a strange tourist attraction, but one that tells a story about the battle between humans and nature. Rabbits multiplied faster than anyone could imagine. They had no natural predators in Australia, a symbol of human determination. And also, a warning of what can happen when animals are introduced into ecosystems where they don't belong. In 1931, a real event happened where 3 Aboriginal girls escaped from a settlement and walked 1,600 kilometers along the rabbit-proof fence to get back home. It's a lesson, a story about how a small animal caused a giant problem and how humans tried to solve it with one of the biggest fences in history. Their story became famous and was later turned into a movie called Rabbit-Proof Fence in 2002. Men worked in scorching heat, through deserts and wilderness, laying down wire and posts by hand. The result, a fence that ran from north to south, cutting through the continent. Farmers were desperate, their land was being destroyed. So the construction began. It took years, but here's where it gets even more interesting. The first fence didn't work perfectly. So they built a second one, and then a third one. There were people called fence riders who traveled up and down the length of the fence, fixing any holes and making sure the rabbits weren't getting through. It was a full-time job, one of the loneliest jobs in the world. And they didn't just build the fence and leave it. But even with all that effort, the rabbits still found ways through. So what now? Eventually, Australia tried other solutions. But the rabbit-proof fence still stands as a reminder. What's more, the rabbit-proof fence isn't just part of agricultural history, it's also part of human history. So this fence isn't just a wire barrier, it's a line through history connecting the environment, people, and even national policy. Today, parts of the rabbit-proof fence are still standing. You can even visit them. And it leaves us with some big questions. Can nature ever really be controlled? What happens when we change ecosystems too fast? And what are the costs of trying to fix it? In the end, Australia's giant fence is more than just a wall of wire. Thanks for watching. If you found this story interesting, there are plenty more surprising things about Australia and the world that you've probably never heard of.